Welcome everybody. We're just waiting for Rinpoche right now, but just general information. As you all know, we offer the teaching in several languages. So to select your language, you can look for the globe icon on the bottom here on the desktop, and on the mobile phone, you'll find it in the program menu, the three-dot menu. Yeah, so we offer in Portuguese, French, Italian, Spanish, and German. Sorry, we're just having some technical issues trying to get Rinpoche in.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, so I hope everybody can hear me. So, first of all, good evening to all our participants, and very nice to have you here again. Okay, so today is again another session of creation and completion. So we will start with the refuge, and then the mandala, prostration. Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Gen Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Gen Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Gen Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Gen Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Sanje Chetan Zoge Shonam La Changchun Bandun Dan Japsu Chen Dage Jinsun Gebe Sunam Gen Drola Penjere Sanje Ndrupara Sho Semje Tamje Dewa Dan Deve Judan Dembran Juje Donga Dan Donga Ngen Judan Jawan Juj Donga Mebe Dewa Tamba Dan Mendra Wan Juje Nye Jadan Yedan Deve Dan Yum Jembola Neber Njurje Semje Tamje Dewa Dan Deve Judan Dembran Juje Donga Dan Donga Ngen Judan Jawan Juje Donga Mebe Dewa Tamba Dan Mendra Wan Juje Nye Jadan Yedan Danyum Jembola Nebara Junje, Semje Tamje Dewa Dan Deve Judan Demaran Juje, Dongan Dan Dongege Judan Trawan Juje, Donga Mebe Dewa Tamba Dan Mendra Wan Juje, Nyere Jadan Yedan Dreve Danyum Jembola Nebaran Juje, Chance Wadan Juje Jaba Dan Jesu Yeran Kushin Sawai, Gewa Jonse Dage Jesaba Tamje Dage Chanju Chiambongo, Sashi Beji Jonse Medo Tamra Jambade. Sanje Shindo Midembo Ayen Rogan Namda Shin Lanju Barsho, Bonan Zawe Lama Rinpoche Dage Chewa Pemende Shola. Gajin Shembe Guanen Jason de Guzon to Game on Zando so. So, my Guru Vajidara as my witness, as my refuge, you visualize your own Guru, and then we start this session. Okay, so today I hope that everybody have also watched the previous videos so that, you know, I hope that it will make some sense. Otherwise, if you're just coming all the way straight right now, it may be a little bit difficult to understand. So just letting you know. So now coming to the sentence, Kerim Kerim, Ke means creation, you know, the creation stages. Regardless whether it's the length, regardless of the length of the creation practice or the creation stages practice. Kerim Jedu regardless of the length of the creation practice. So the purpose of the creation practice. The purpose of the creation practice, mainly, you know, all of us, when we start with the Buddha Dharma, when we start with it in the tantric practice and we say, oh, I want to feel this. I had this very good dream. I had this auspicious sign. Or then we see other Dharma brothers and sisters who have some kind of a symbolic and auspicious sign. Then we say, oh, you know, they must be a great practitioner or better than me. I'm terrible. You know, we kind of become very small, you know, with our motivation. So therefore we should not look in that direction. And our direction is what it says by the first Jamga Kondolo de Taye, as well as all the great Mahasiddhas and masters. So the purpose and the principle of the visualization practice is number sewe nangyo shenpajong. Number sewe, as you develop into the creation practice. So what does it mean by creation practice? Creation practice means refuge, bodhicitta, compassion, tonglen practice, and then visualizing the deity, and then doing a preliminary practice and reaching to the primary practice, and then visualizing the mantras, syllables, offerings, objects of the offerings, and the mandalas, countless and countless and countless of that, and repeating that again and again, again and again. That is called, that's the category of the so-called creation. So the creation is not just visualizing a symbol, it's not just visualizing a syllable, it's this whole wide range is a creation practice. So just so that we understand, creation is not just focusing on the deity. It's like the whole stage of the creation practice, starting all the way from the refuge, purifying your intention, therefore, the endless thought, semje tamje dewatan dewe judan temperature, when we think about semeshi, right? In Tibetan, we call semeshi. Semje tamje dewatan dewe judan temperature, let all the sentient being be relief from the suffering, absent from the suffering, and let them develop bodhicitta, enlightenment, so on and so forth, So all these are seen as a creation practice. Maybe we go to stupa, make a kora. We go to the temple, make a prostration. And we visualize the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in our heart. That is also creation practice. So you should, why I'm trying to say this is because you should not divide all these different ideas. We should not imprint, we should not add this opinion of that is this, that is that, dividing the practice. You should not do that. Starting from the refuge all the way to the, whether it's reciting the mantra through vocal mantra, whether it's a mind reciting mantra, whether it's a small, with a small volume of reciting mantra, whatever it may be, all these are seen as equally important as possible and genuinely and respectfully. If you have that attitude, then the conclusion of so-called creation practice will happen. So now in this text, it is talking about the conclusion of proper creation practice. And what is the conclusion or the result? Nawa sewe, number sewe, nangyo shenpa. As you develop a sense of clarity and the lucid awareness in the mind with this creation practice, by the result of that, nang yul, nang means appearance, appearance of things, right? Things of what? Things of external things. External can be objects such as mountain, traffic, beautiful object, all different kind of object, all the external object, right? Other than the mind itself is all external object. So when we talk about external object, it does not only mean, like what we can hold with our hand. Anything other than the nature of the mind is external object. Because all the external of reality in the front, the value, the conceptual ideas of the value of the object is created by mind. It is not created by itself. It is created by mind, by our common sense and knowledge, and then over time it becomes ignorant and illusion. So anyway, so right now what we are trying to deal is, to detach from the ordinary attachment, the ordinary illusion. So by the result of the creation practice, the attachment and the expectation to the ordinary world dissolves by itself. Shenpa Jong means dissolves by itself. So that is the first positive sign of practicing good. So you may question, sometimes you say, oh, maybe I'm doing good practice. Maybe I'm not doing good practice. But if you have a sense of genuine detachment, not aggression, detachment, not combined with aggressiveness, but rather with a gentle detachment, with a deep understanding and a gentle detachment. And that is, what we are talking about here. Nang yul shenpa jong, all the external things, dissolves. Everything that appears to be important dissolves. Namda tembe dweche tsenzintel. And then as you continue with this sense of mind and the mindfulness and this practice, as you continue, and then over the time, tsinzin, tsemanzimba. Tsinzin means the self-clinging, the very sensation of the clinging, that the strength of the clinging dissolves, that dissolves. Ngajal tempe tamil ngarjin shom. And also combining together, ngajal tempe. Here it says ngajal tempe, what the meaning of Vajra pride, So I have to emphasize in this one. Many people, including myself, I misunderstood the meaning of Vajra pride. I thought, when I think about the Vajra pride in the beginning, I thought that I had to be extra pride because I'm visualizing a deity, like, oh, I am this deity, That is not Vajra pride. If you have a rigidness in the mindset, where you say, I am Grintara, I am Jereze, a little bit like a loudspeaker in your own head, If you have that, then it's more to do with your egoistic attitude rather than the Vajra pride. So the distinction is that when you are in the state of the Vajra pride, you are in the continuity of awareness. Everything appears as it is and dissolves wherever it appears from. And then you continue with the mindfulness. And then whatever the people talking around you doesn't seem to be attractive as it used to. And it doesn't influence your judgment or your perception of your practice either. All right? That is the Vajra pride. Not just the awareness of the mind, that awareness of the mind is like in a different, level of awareness. You just enter to the different reality. Let's put it like this. And then whatever the people talking around you, not necessarily people praising you or criticizing you, just people, talking around you, beautiful object moving around you. You don't seem to bother. You're not careless. You just not seems to bother as before. And then even the projection of thoughts that may arise within the one's own mind, and then simply by witnessing dissolve from wherever it appeared from, and then you are not even bothered by that also, and you have a continuity of this sense of I am this deity, I am this Chakasambhara, I am Siksa Mahakala, I am Manjushri, I am Avalokiteshwara or Grintara, sense of very gentle continuity. That is the Vajra pride. The Vajra, so make that distinction over the time. In the beginning, of course, we are always struggling with the concentration, where to focus, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm too tired, and this is too much. And of course, in the beginning, it becomes like that. But slowly, that distinction has to be developed over the time. And it makes a big difference. I will tell you why. When I was doing this, visualization of Hayagriva, in the beginning of my experience of Tantrayana practice, lack of experience, I visualize myself as a Hayagriva, and I'm preparing the mandala in my visualization, right? So I said, this is the mandala. I am Hayagriva, 6 arms, Hayagriva, 3 horse making sound, all the demons, all the spirit, anything that you interrupt in our mandala, you will be disintegrated, by the blessings of all the mantra of Buddha and Bodhisattva, and also with my inner strength as well. I used to have that, when I started. You visualize all that Vajra tent and, all this, demon and spirit being joyful with the gift and then going away, And over the time, as you practice, then you visualize the Siksa Mahakala, you visualize the most wrathful deity, yet your mind is in the calmest mind. It doesn't seem to interfere at all, of what the appearance of the deity may be. And then even when you do the Gektor, I don't know how to say Gektor in English, but Gektor is like you give some sort of offering to the demigods and also to the spirit, not to interrupt your retreat or mandala of that day, of that month, of that week, or something. It goes every day, and over the time, what happened is that what happened to my mind was all these spirit are sentient being. I have a genuine empathy to you. You are just unfortunate being. I genuinely give you this gift. I make a visualization of all the, how do I say, blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas with the three kayas, and purify this blessing and given to you. Now, with this bond, make sure that you always benefit this mandala. Make sure you always come back for more, and I'm always here for you, like that. And even when I was doing a chur, over the time when we do the lakma, the leftover gift, then I always say, all of the spirit, such a pity, such unfortunate. I give all the pieces of my body left over to all of you. Enjoy it, take it, and then return to your home joyfully, Then over the time, it becomes like that, not the mindset, but not a mindset, but rather a quality of the mind becomes that, develops in that direction, and that is the meaning of the Vajra pride. You are aware that you are visualizing yourself as a Vajra Yogini, when I'm doing a chur, or when I do a Siksa Mahakala, visualize the Siksa Mahakala or Hayagirwa, then your perception is like that sense of gentleness, not emotionally unstable. Not like, what to do, I don't know what to do, what am I supposed to do with you, not with the exaggeration, with the crazy thoughts, that's something very different. So as you develop that sense of quality of the Vajra pride, Tamel means ordinary, ngarzin means I attachment, I self-attachment. Ngarzin shom means dissolve, or something became smaller or disappeared. Ngajel tembe tamel ngarzin shom. Ngajel tembe means due to this, this particular Vajra pride, then the ordinary pride dissolves or disappears or cease to exist, or you can put it like this. So therefore, now it coming down, now this is the practical guideline, okay? So the previous 3 sentence, 4 sentence actually, Kerim jedu chidam gomyaro, number 7, namyo shenbajo, namdra dembe, and reje tsenzintre, ngaje dembe tamen nganzin shom. This 4 sentence is like a general explanation put together in the 4 sentence, So now it's coming down to more to the practical level. So like an example, when you say, how can I do practice? how can I do the deity practice? Can you teach me how to do the deity practice? I want to do it, right? So now it's coming down to the practical level. So what is the practical level? So the practical level here is Teichir. Teichir means therefore. Tangbo means first. Therefore, first. Udang chashap. So u means head. Chashap means hand and leg. Chashap. So rereshindu. Salde chungomne. Rereshindu means you visualize head first, hand first, leg first, part by part, not everything together, but just focus on, when we talk about visualizing the face of the green Dara, it's not just the face, it's not like the imagination of your lover. It's not like that, like, oh, I want to imagine the person I love. That's not the visualization. When we talk about the visualization focusing on the face, that means face means eyes, hearing, nose, jaw, lips, nose, hair, color of the hair, like an example, the green Tara's hair is completely black, like a pure black, like a, yeah. So like that kind of detail, So like an example, when you talk about hand, what do you visualize in hand? You visualize lotus, the Padma, upal, her flower, and the shape of the flower, color of the flower, where it's facing, where it's at. Like an example, green Tara, the flower goes all the way from the hand, from the down under, and then on her shoulder, and then opening on her left ear, right? So like that. So there's a detail. There's a detail, a gentle detail. And then you have the right hand posture. Sometimes her hand posture is like a giving blessing, under the guidance, a different posture. Yeah. Jabjin Chaja. Jabjin Chaja means a giving blessing posture, so like that. And then just like that, like Avalokiteshvara, like a long life Buddha, Tsepatme, medicine Buddha, or like a or white Tara, all these things, So when we talk about visualizing a piece by piece, it does not mean like just one piece and absolutely nothing. not like that, It's a little bit detail, visualize, and the principle is a sense of transparency, so not like rigid, like transparency, lucid. Relation to you visualize all of this little by little, little by little. Means little bit. So first you start with the head, and then hand, leg, the earring, beautiful clothes, little by little, little by little. And then and then after you finish finalizing, bit by bit, at the final stage, then you visualize everything together. Yeah, then you visualize the hand, the leg, the earring, the necklace, hair color, ornament, object, Amitabha in the crown, all of this. Amitabha sitting in his, holding the Tungze, surrounded by radiance, with the Tenzangpo Sunjusoni. Tenzangpo Sunjusoni means, like the 32 perfections, 32 perfections of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Pejesangpa Jeju, and then followed by 80 other detailed perfections. I mean, that's too much detail, but it's just, to put it nicely as possible, and then all of that, then you visualize green Tara. Then you visualize Avalokiteshvara, you visualize white Tara, you visualize Buddha, like that. Kuzu Yongzo. Kuzu means body, Yongzo means all together. Lam Gesawagom means all of a sudden, Lam Gesawagom. And then, of course, our obvious concern is that I can visualize, but I cannot concentrate. That is our obvious reaction, our obvious question. And then here is the method. Here is saying, Gomya mine namto choduna. If you're trying to meditate or trying to visualize, mine namto choduna means if you're let's say the visualization, if you feel that the visualization is not still, mine means not still, right? Floating around. Let's put it like this. If your visualization feels like floating around, not in one place, namto choduna, and then with the interruption with all the different projection of thoughts, if that seems to be the case, choduna, chanandoje dabu rikpate. Then try to visualize something a little bit more wrathful. Like an example, Vajrapani, Chanan Dorje is a Vajrapani. Try to visualize something a little bit more wrathful. Rikpate. Good na kiltung chingne tsukdorki. And then if you feel a little bit exhausted, a little bit lack of energy, and then try to sit in the Vajra posture, or try to sit in the Vajra posture, or try to stand up or something, Basically, especially in the Western, world, it's nothing to do with your body. It's due to how you're educated when you're little, because in the Western world, everybody is sitting on the chair, since we're very little. And then it's difficult for us to sit in the Vajra posture. As in Asia, nowadays, this upcoming generation is sitting on the chair, but what to say, in the monasteries and majority of the, the people, they still sit in the, like a refuge posture. So basically, it's just a habit. And therefore, you should not feel guilty because, oh, I'm a Westerner, so therefore I cannot do it. I cannot sit in the Vajra posture for too long, or I need a meditation cushion and all these things. That should not be the concern, because it says right here, whatever you do, whatever you can, not to be lost. You do whatever you can to put your dedication to the Dharma and the clarity of the mind in that direction, then it's good. And then if you feel like a little bit sleepy, and then try to meditate, try to visualize, or try to concentrate such object as crystal, crystal or chintamani stone, something very simple to put your mind on. Norbutabu rikpaten gom. Tene haja namdo metroya. Number Mr. Nyopa Draduna, Mingar Tanka Mani Dersoku, Sojele Chundra Dembasham. Namdo. Okay, so it's saying that if you feel then haja namdo metroya, even so now we are entering to the second solution, or the second possibility of obstacle. If you are feeling the projection of thoughts is not too much that much of a not that much of a disturbance, but yet is still not so clear, with your practice. Number Mr. Nyokwa Draduna, mingar tangam mani dersuku sojelela chunda dembasham, and then try to make your shrine colorful as possible. Basically it's a little bit like try to increase the contrast, brings a little bit more sense of sharpness of the appearance, basically. Sojelek chunda dembasham namdo metro tela yurinta, and then try to focus your mind in that. Namdo metro tela yurinta. It's a little bit like I think Japanese meditator, I think they do like that, no? They put some kind of simple color and then they meditate, It's similar, but not the same. Namdo metro tela yurinta, tema tao to ranglu tendrake, and then all of a sudden visualizing yourself as a deity. First, you put all the colorful shrine and visualization, and then without any disturbance of thoughts, just continue, and then all of a sudden transform yourself within the visualization and becoming a deity. Okay. Then and then it will benefit and it will keep you in a good cycle. Namdo susu ni tenje jang loye zero namdo namai le dambola misel chokinche dewe lako tongsen janjundat teni yeken rangi semyende ne zare tongbani de yenden keba tembala shenje charging number namdo susu ni tenje jang loye zero namdo namai le dambola misel chokinche or if it's too much of a hardship for all of us, and then just try to visualize the deity in a form of radiance, and then try to think that teni again rangi, and that appearance of the deity combined together with the radiance, and then try to think that is also the manifestation of the mind. That is also the reflection of the mind. It's a little bit like if you are very much a rigid mindset, and then this is kind of the way to relax yourself a little bit, Maybe the visualization of all the deities is just a little bit impossible, right? So then what you do is that you try to visualize, the deity, a little bit like a radiance, transparent, empty, rainbow color. Jansun means all the different radiance mixed together. That is also the reflection and the manifestation of your mind. And also, the nature of the mind, the consciousness itself is emptiness in the nature itself. And then it has many explanation, and then it will explain gradually over the time. Okay. So now we are entering to the new chapter. Everybody is okay? Not feeling too tired? Our online participant. Okay. Okay. Wide awake. Okay. Good. Yeah. Because the last thing I want to do is that seeing our participant, like this, falling asleep. Okay, good. Okay. Where did I reach now? Okay. Tudo bem, graças. Brazilian. Okay. Ngajim magum danzin zawachu. Okay, so now it's coming back to the mind. Okay, so now the explanation about the visualization of the deities, and then the transforming, or if you want to be a little bit more relaxed and visualize less colorful, and then you just mix it together with radiance and transparency, and then telling yourself that that is a manifestation of the mind, and the mind itself is emptiness, and a little bit like that, but not chaotic. So anyway, that's a further explanation later on. It will come to that. So now we are in the stage, we're in more coming close to a different categories of instruction. Let's put it like this: different categories of instruction. Like the just what we have discussed is more to do with the visualization and the mindset of the visualization, So now the upcoming chapter is coming down to, again, in a different category of guidance. And these and the following guidance are ngajal magum danzin tawachu danzin shitse ransim kardechang. So by conquering, right? By conquering your ngajal, by conquering your ngajal means the self-attachment. By conquering your self-attachment, Zawachu means like, really cutting off your self-attachment, the self-pride, By the result of cutting off the ignorant pride. Again, I have to make a little bit clear on this one a little bit. When you go to work, when you are parents, when you are maybe, whether you are a son or daughter, from the family, you have done something good for your family. You have done something good for your parents, or to your children, or for your friends, for your partner, for your husband and wife, or colleague, or for the environment, or for your community, by speaking truth, by doing something, by contributing some sort of things, then you're proud of that. And it's good. And we should not mix things together. You understand? Many people, they mix things together of what they're dealing with in their ordinary life. And then the moment they're here, in Buddhism, we should not be proud. And they kind of like squeeze things together and say, I should not feel anything, And that's where it goes wrong. And then it start to look like the Buddhism is not contributing happiness or recognition to the ordinary happiness. And it seems like that, then because you misunderstood, you kind of, because like I said before, Buddha never forced upon other people, regardless of his method, regardless of his enlightened method and teachings. He never imposed on people, regardless of race and religion or culture, whatever it may be. He never imposed. He always expressed, So therefore, as a Buddhist, all of us, that is our principle. We should not impose on other people. So whatever the pride and joy that you may have in your ordinary life, keep it. Don't try to compare right away with the very minimum of your dharmic dedication, because you will be led to disappointment. So therefore, whatever the ordinary habits that we have at the moment, just keep it as it is. Continue to practice Dharma, and then it will change your attitude in life. It will change your way of thinking over the time. The last thing you should do is squeezing your life. That is something that you should never do. Because it's a little bit like little bit like our Lokiteshvara history, where he says, "Oh, I cannot liberate all the sentient beings." He is a bodhisattva, and he said, "Oh, I cannot liberate all the sentient beings." Then he lost his commitment, Then he was blessed again by Amitabha, So like that. So even our Lokiteshvara can lose some commitment sometimes. It does not define you as a bad practitioner or terrible or not following the Samaya. None of that. Some bumpy road is possible, but genuine intention to the Dharma is needed. But we should stop putting the comparison right away just because we practice Dharma a little bit. Like we practice a little bit of 5 minutes meditation, then we say, oh, attachment is bad, jealousy is bad, the pride is bad. And then you cannot control what you appear in your mind. And it's been building that habit for a very long time. Just because you discover Dharma, you cannot solve all of this in one night. It's just impossible. So therefore, try to accept the reality that it will take some time, that I will practice. And if you have an ordinary pride that support your parents and your children and grandchildren and families and relatives, and you did something good and they did something good, they give a recognition to your hardship and your dedication to them, be happy, be pride. It's absolutely fine. You have an appreciation all the small moments in life. There's nothing wrong with it. And then over the time, continue to practice Dharma, and then your perception in life will change, will increase the level of understanding over the time. So therefore, when I say ngajal magom means absent from the pride, it's a very big word if you understand, if you try to understand it. Absent, when you are able to conquer or be completely absent from the self-attachment. Right now, in this moment, you cannot be absent from self-attachment at all. You think you could because you are not challenged. But once you are challenged by a beautiful object, by praise, by gift, by expensive things, or many people around you, then you say, you cannot. I mean, of course you can overcome, but that will be our natural reaction. So therefore, the reason why I'm saying, by squeezing it out, by saying that I should not have a pride at all, that's not the approach. Practice it, let the quality do the effect into our mind. And then you can gradually you can absent your pride, the self-attachment, okay? So now coming back to the teaching here. So now everybody understood that, so there's no misunderstanding in that word. Now I'm focusing on the text, okay? Means by the result of conquering your own self-attachment or absent of your own self-attachment, by the result of that, the moment this self-illusion, the illusion of self, the illusion of self. Once you conquer the self-attachment, the illusion of the self breaks it down by itself. Da means yourself. Zin means attachment. Shikse means what it's, once it becomes how would I say, becomes a rubble, right? Once it's fallen into pieces, it will fall into pieces. Once you conquer the self-attachment and the absent from the self-attachment and the illusion of the so-called self or importance of self in a very self-attachment level, that will dissolve by itself. And once it is dissolved along with it, dissolve along with it, wherever you look, in, out, direction, anything you look, you will see only one thing. And that is 대잉어 튀게 샤와이 대달게렘 저 곰바이 곰베스나 문안 느반립. Yeah. And then you will start to develop some sort of a clarity, some sort of clarity in your mind. 대달게렘 저라 곰바이 곰베스나 문안 느반립. And then with the accumulation of how do I say, practicing, practicing creation and all this chanting, and all the appearance, the strength of the external appearance of things also dissolves. So it looks like two things in the beginning, it looks like there's a self-attachment that you need to manage, and then there's the external things that you have to manage, but I will explain to you my experience here. We think that the moment we are absent from the self-attachment, and then somehow we are free from the illusion of self, and you become completely clear. That is our imagination, but in the reality, it goes like this, little bit down, little bit up, it down, little bit up, it goes like this. It's not like, the self dissolves and then, you have the emptiness all of a sudden, awaken. Doesn't work like that. It kind of, it's a little bit like the wings in the turbulence, It's a little bit like left and right, left and right, left and right. And then as you continue to practice, and then as you continue to practice, the attachment of self and the illusion of self dissolves, and then and then you continue to practice, and the external perception and the strength of the external perceptions of things dissolves, and then along with it simultaneously, and then your understanding of the emptiness and the nature of the mind and pure bliss start to increase after that over the time. Until that, it's a little bit like this, a little bit like two-edge. Yeah, that's something what I understood, because there was a moment that where I experienced a very clear emptiness and a clear mind, and with absolutely, how should I say, absolutely absent from all the external of things, but then again, even you may realize that you are still vulnerable to certain things, so that continuation makes the difference. So the more you continue in that, the more resistant you build. Let's put it like this in the human language. It's not necessarily the dharmic language, but it will bring more immune or resistant, let's put it like this. It's better so that we all understand. 대들 기름저 곰바이 곰베스는 문함네 번집 마곰 하제스는 충의 곰다 마곰 메바 춘난거 사단시 oh, by the way, please don't speculate too many things on what I just said. Just practice it. It will come. Don't speculate too much on what I just said. You will understand in the future slowly, but just practice, even if it's not a long practice, a short practice, doesn't matter, just continue. Okay, so 대응 or 이게 샤워이 대대기름서 곰바이 곰베스는 은원을 번집 마 고마곰 하셨으나 충의 곰담마곰 매바 tunan고 하단시에 차was나진 랑게 하곰 소진 소메게 라니 하고 하동 센나 첨보때 닝룩 넘버 멤버링진세 하단시에 차was나진 랑게 하곰 소진 소메게 라니 하통 라니 하동 센나 첨보때 Ninglu number member is inside. Okay, so now going to the next chapter. What time is it? Started from 8. Okay. We continue with one more chapter. Haku Saya Ransem Sanai Misel Lumitimbe Ransemi. So now it's coming down to the again the practical method again. So coming down to more realistic practical method. And the practical method guidance that are given to us in this moment is Hakusaya Ransam Sanai. If there's a clarity in the visualization, your mind is also in a state of clarity as well. It's not something one or two or another. Sanai. Misel Lomitsemba Ransami. Even there will be some time that there's a lack of content or lack of satisfaction of your deity practice, that is also your mind. Seldu yangom chebe, seldu yangom chebe, kimbonsem, and the very sense of desire that wanting to develop a further practice and wanting to recite the practice or the visualization, that desire itself is also the mind. Ninglu number member ringzese, ninglu number member ringzese. Haku sayara, okay, no, rani misel lomitsemba ransemi, selde yangum chebe kembo ansem, ransemi ishe lama tayangi. And then if you understand over the time with your realization, obviously, this is not the intellectual understanding, Rangsem Yishi. Rangsem is your consciousness. Rang means yourself. Sem means consciousness. Yishi means wisdom. Lama, Tayayin. If you understand the nature of the mind, you understand the genuine wisdom, Guru, and the deity all together. 탐지 셈나 셈니 마주바 림니 람게 제네 타톡데 끼에베 렘바 망보 찌고미야 마잉장게 테니 산템나 산나 사동 용나 용동 차 랑서는 탐지 셈나 셈니 마주바 림니 람게 제네 타톡데 basically all the visualization of the deities, ultimately just try to practice it by somehow recognizing your own distractions along your journey, and then whatever the obstacles may occur, it will dissolve by itself. Okay, so now the next sentence is very beautiful, a little bit complex, I would say, from what I understand. Jinni keberimba chemai, cheme langi name penalty. So all the creation practice is obviously is a duality, all the creation is a duality. It's not absent from duality. It is duality, because you are putting in effort, you are trying to create, you're adding the color, you're imagining, you're visualizing. It's an effort. But it's a necessary duality, because by the result of this necessary duality, it brings you to the ultimate level of understanding. Duality means it brings you to the, the fruitful result or meaningful result over the time. It will bring you to that destination. So it is a necessary duality. Like an example, everything is duality around us, right? Everything is interrelated. But when we are visualizing deity, visualizing all these things, it is a necessary duality to bring ourselves into a more deeper level. Duality. Tulna tunzin shita mandrupar lota chebe machu soshani zorem niden nama mui no ngama chandu chima ngedui tulna tunzin shita mandru. So we basically, based on the duality practice or the creativity practice, right? We are creating, projecting, all this duality practice. The main purpose is to tulna tulzi, recognizing the illusion as an illusion and overcoming the, the reality of the illusion completely. Overcoming completely. If you don't overcome that completely, like a little bit like when you're doing a good practice, like an example, when you do a good running, when you do good running, you run for a few kilometers or you walk for a few kilometers. Then after that, you say, I did it. Yes, that was good run. Like you go for a cycle. You face difficulty in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour. And then this, after 1 hour, you start to enjoy a little bit, and then after 2 hours, 3 hours, then you say, after that, you say, I did it. I understood. I understood my body. I understood my capacity. I understood. There's a level of satisfaction, in our normal human being. But in this level of satisfaction, it's much more subtle, because here it's saying about, practicing based on the duality in the beginning, so that we can reach to the conclusion closer to the nature of the mind by seeing the illusion as an illusion, having that kind of conclusion. If you don't have that conclusion, then you cannot recognize the nature of the mind. Lota chebe macho soshani zorim yede nama ngui no ngama changdu chima ngedui ngama changdu chima ngedui. So that's what I just said, like in the beginning, everything is based on the relativity, creating, projecting, duality, and then over the time, you will reach to the absolute meaning, the absolute state. Right? And then now here comes to the other teaching. Now it's a different category again. It's about the nature of the mind. Semdön shena chikshi kunjulde. Semdön shena chikshi kunjulde. It means semdön. Sem means consciousness. Dön means meaning. If you understand the meaning of the nature of the mind, you understand everything. By understanding one, you understand everything. Semdön manshi kunshi chik dukser. If you don't understand the nature of the mind, even you know everything, you know nothing. If there's a big scholar next to you and talking with so many different topics, and then you have to say, if you know the nature of the mind, you know everything. If you don't know nature of the mind, you know nothing. That kind of stops the argument right there. In a nice way. I don't know whether you over, maybe you will come to that or not. I don't know, but yeah. What I do is that whenever I see people or people with the title who want to show off their knowledge and things like that, and then they ask you, oh, you know this, you know that text. I say, then my response, oh no, I don't know nothing. I really don't know nothing. I'm just discovering right now, and then it just stops the conversation, in a nice way. So they feel happy because they feel like, oh, I shown off, and then then from your side you say, oh, I know nothing, and it's the first time I'm seeing it. It's nice, in a Buddhist way. Not maybe not in the normal way. It may not get you a job, but in a Buddhist way, it helps a little bit to protect your own pride. Okay. If you understand the nature of the mind, you know everything. If you don't understand the nature of the mind, you know nothing. Chikduser. Tony. Tony Don Tamche. Tony Rona Tamche Kunola. Tony Miro Tamche Miroshe. If the emptiness, Tony means emptiness. If the emptiness is accepted, everything is accepted. If the emptiness is not accepted, nothing is accepted, as the saying goes. Tony Miro Tamche Miroshe. Papa Luiso. Then this is mentioned by the Nagarjuna Mahasiddha, right? Chagzo Uma Tuja Tandamda. Chagzo means Chagja Chempo, Mahamudra. Zo means Zokpa Chempo. Uma means Uma Chempo. So these are the different names, So it's just Chagzo Uma Tuja Tandam. Turtle is also one name to the nature of the mind. Turtle means beyond duality, and then Tendam means absolute. So the name goes by a different way, So it really doesn't matter. Some people call it Mahamudra, some call it Nyingma in Dzogpa Chenpo, some call it Uma Chenpo, some call it Turtle, some call it Tendam. It's absolutely doesn't matter, whatever you call it. Jawe Gongpa Deme Nelu Tang. Jawa Gongpa Deme Nelu Tang. Shera Parchin Tagum Chebaso. Shera Parchin. And then also and then also ourselves, we have a responsibility to study and learn from all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and using our our intellectual knowledge, intellectual mind, combined together with the meditative, analytical, and practicing, Shera Pachin, Tagum Jebaso, and then Tanye Mingit Namdrang Tamchekun. There is a different names. Tanye Mingit Namdrang Tamchekun. There's so many different categories of names. Ultimately, it is coming down to the foundation of the nature of the mind. Chirya Mandru Lola Jirawa, Teni Chikpur Dusu Sombala, Chirya Mandru Lode. Nothing is concrete in the nature of the mind. Nothing is fabricated and made. Nothing is fabricated beyond your imagination, beyond the expression. So this is the nature of the mind. So that's it. I think for tonight, I think it's enough, no? We let our lamas and our Lotawa translator to take rest, and they have a big day again on Monday. They have to work. So I will take probably 1 or 2 questions, after the dedication. So just to be clear, we have reached to page 261 at the last line of the 261. Okay, 261, last page. Yeah. So now I'll make a dedication and then we do the question and answer for 1 or 2. O sonam de tamje zegbanye tomne nye bendalam pamje ni kega na chen balam tobai seben zolan rowan rowa sho changju senjo rembo je mage banan gejo je keba nyamba meboda gone gondo pewa sho oman bemen. So now you can ask 1 or 2 questions and then tomorrow I will take a rest, but I don't have a choice. I have something else to do. Okay, so where is the question? You can go ahead and ask. Yeah, regarding the previous teachings, you can ask in our Shampakaju email, and then I think they will be able to answer to you. You're welcome. Please thank our lamas and our translator, because without the translator, you won't be able to understand anything. Okay, wait. Okay. What is the nature of a mind? What is the nature of the mind? I'll let you discover. I think I talk enough. I'll let you discover. I think it's better like that. Okay. Okay. Is the difficulty with the death more to do with the resistance of not wanting to let go of the ego attachment, not allowing ourselves to dissolve into impermanence and infinity? The suffering of the death is mainly due to lack of understanding about the Dharma, which is more or less the lack of understanding to one's life. Both of these are equally important to understand. So like an example, when you practice genuinely, you will reach to the point where you say, I have absolutely no regret, not like a terrorist, but I have no regret, everything is good, I have my Siksama Kala, I have my Niguma, I have my Chumpanenjo, they are my absolute refuge. So there will be, when you practice it over time, there will be a sense of genuine surrender mind, surrender, sense of openness, not giving up, but rather sense of openness. And, so I think reaching to that level is very important. And then you can talk about letting go of the ego and attachment, all these things can come afterwards, but it is very important that we reach to that level, that where we have some sort of faith to the three jewels, to the Siksa Mahakala, to our Lokiteshvara, and that realization, that understanding, that amount of faith and trust to the three jewels and Buddhas and Bodhisattva also, it's contributed based on your accumulation of practice and then your dedication to the Dharma. It does, it's not just a thought in your mind that you just think. It is more to do with the mindset that you need to reach there. And once it's reached there, it can reach there probably in 1 year or 2 years of practice. If you continue, 2 years, 3 years, or maybe more or less, you don't have to push yourself to think like that. That's the point. Don't push yourself to think like that. You will reach there, just like the wind, pushing the boat, like a sailboat. It will push you in that direction. And then after that, when you reach to the state of the death, and then, then you will do a poa by yourself, and then the definition of the poa is not necessarily the method. It's more to do with the mindset of willingness, of transmission. Willingness of the transmission is poa. Poa is not necessarily reading text or chanting or reciting something. Poa is basically having a full trust to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and that is a poa, a genuine surrender, a genuine refuge, and that at that time you will be able to detach from your own ego, attachment, all of these things, completely, then that is a genuine poa. Poa is not simply by saying, oh, pay, that is not a poa. That is, yes, part of the poa, part of the practice. Like we talk about the creation practice, the poa, the pay is a part of the creation practice. The real poa is the sense of detachment, is the real poa. The sense of detachment, sense of fully renounce, fully detach, fully surrender, full faith to the three jewels, and seeing as one with the Dharmakaya. That is the real poa. So that's that. But in order to reach to that conclusion at the end of your life or at some point in your life, you need to reach to a point where you say, once in a while when you're practicing, where you start to have some sort of a realization, I am good, the life is good, I am fortunate, I practice Dharma, I have my refuge, everything is here, so a sense of that tenderness, Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for tonight. Okay. I don't want to cause too much exhaustion for our online lamas and translators here, and please thank them for their dedication. I am unemployed, so I'm okay. They are employed, they have work to do. And then this is their, they are lama, they are practitioner, and they are doing this on their spare time. So please thank them. Me, I'm unemployed every day, so I'm okay. I'm not a social worker, I'm a Buddhist worker, so it's okay. Okay, so I think that's it for this time. And then next month we can do something like that again. Okay. Yeah, this month has been very busy, starting with Kalu Rinpoche's teaching, and then after that with my our Asian group, and then now the creation and completion, and yeah, so yeah, I think the next few days I just be quiet a little bit, keep my mouth shut. I think it's best. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you all the lamas and our online participants and volunteers. Please be safe. And thank you so much. And have a good day and good evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.